Intro, beer. News, beer. Top 10, beer. 3 and under. Preview, fuck you.
Okay, cool.
Not fuck you. Planning beers. It's always fun, isn't it?
I don't want to waste these beautiful beers.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to them. I don't know what ones you've got in there.
I don't really.
You don't? Well, let's go for it then.
Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the first official ever episode of A Glass Half Film, the podcast where we talk all things TV, film, and we drink a few beers. Beers, that is, yeah, we drink a few beers. But we love a tipple, don't we? My name's Luke. I'm joined by the ever-present Sean Seymour.
Hello.
We put this podcast together as discussed to mention everything film, TV, and in between, really, I suppose, as well. Bit of pop culture thrown in there for good measure, Sean, am I right?
Yep.
Why not? And beers along the way, so we'll teach you a thing or two about ales, whilst we also teach ourselves about it, really. I'm learning along the way, you know.
We all are, mate.
Hoppy, crisp, all these adjectives I knew nothing about. Wholesome, I know about wholesome.
Yeah?
My grandma provided me with wholesome love as I grew up.
Wholesome.
Yeah, that's a grandmother's love, isn't it? Wholesome. Am I right?
Like the wholesome love a cardigan gives you.
Yes, absolutely.
Feels like a grandma hug. On your arms.
That's beautiful, Sean, that is.
Thanks.
An advertisement for cardigans from Sean there. But yes, we decided to really go for this podcast because, I mean, we both love films, we both love TV. Films, probably more so than TV myself, but I mean, I shouldn't have to choose between the two. That sounds a bit bad of me already.
No gun to your head, mate.
Absolutely. Remain optimistic, Luke. It's glass half film. I fucked up. First episode, I fucked up straight away.
You're never going to be able to say that correctly.
I'm never. It's a tongue twister.
Consistently.
No.
Didn't you come up with a name?
I did, but yeah, I think I said it on a whim. And I was just like, yeah, let's run with this. And then it was like, film glass half for... And then as we get more and more half cut as the episode goes on, I just can't... I don't even know where I am, Sean.
No.
So...
Well, hopefully these aren't too strong for you.
Well, I'm hoping so, because it's a big episode this week, being the first one. I want to impress as much as possible. So I don't want to fuck up in any way, shape or form, but, you know, initially have done already with the name.
Yep. The main part,
the main part, you know, just introducing it to people. You fucked up straight away, Luke. Well done.
Yeah.
You're a disappointment. I can already hear my father saying it.
Would you like me to open the first?
The first, yes. Well, let's introduce these beers. We got them from our good friend Jimmy, didn't we, Sean?
Yes, Jimmy works in Brewdog in Southampton. It's a wonderful place. Where everybody knows your name.
Really? I was going to go for It's a Magical Place, we're on our way there.
Toys R Us?
Yes.
It's a bit like Toys R Us.
We'll chuck in theme songs along the way, people, just in case you're interested.
But he, basically, I walked in there and he kind of, he's a bit of a connoisseur of beer. So I kind of...
He works at the right place for it.
Definitely. And I kind of let him run with it. So... I'm not really too sure on what we've got.
Okay.
I trust his judgment.
You're going for a bottled one first?
The first one, is... This one's a sour ale.
A sour ale?
Yes.
I'll be honest, doesn't sound appealing on paper.
No. But, well, a sour berry ale. This one is.
The only sour thing I like are Sour Patch Kids. Those sweets. You know the ones?
Sour Patch?
Yeah, Sour Patch Kids.
Cabbage Patch Kids?
No, not Cabbage Patch Kids. They're the toys. Sour Patch Kids are like sweets. And they're like little kids. You're not eating little kids. I'm just saying they're shaped like kids.
Nom.
Really, Sean? In this day and age, you're going for that, right? Okay.
Oh, right. But yeah, this is basically... My brother's just started getting into these as well, but he... you can't have too much of it, I don't think, with sours, but I think this is enough. There's only Coke cans.
It's got a little face on it that says Fierce.
Yes, I think that's... Fierce Beer is obviously the...
I thought it was a description of it, to be honest.
No, I think it's the...
The name, the brand.
It's the brewery.
Oh, God. Wow, that is sour. Jesus. God. That's sour. That's sour. You getting that? Is that your... Are you just laughing, or are you just... My reaction to it? I'm sorry, that's like super sour. That tastes like you've left some Tangfastic Haribos, other sweets are available, in like some water in a glass for a while, and they're just soaking in there. It's like
When
a
have
sour
you-
juice drink. I haven't done that before. I'm just saying it's what it tastes like. I'm imagining it tastes
I
like
actually
that.
think it tastes quite nice.
In
Luke's yet to be convinced on the
no, well there we
on the
go.
sour berry
I don't know.
ale.
Look, hold on. Yeah, like that's tangy. Oh,
You can see his face, people.
it's not sour. It's just like it's tangy. Do you know what I mean? It's not sour. I'm not getting like a
One
sour
of your
taste.
eyes are like closed.
Have I got a lazy eye? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Well,
Right,
Jimmy,
good night.
thanks.
No, I'm joking.
No, thanks a bunch.
No, Jimmy, thanks. No,
This is nice. I think it's all right. I don't think I could drink loads of it, but
I think it would go all right if I was to have another beer and then I was to have this afterwards.
yeah. Well, you know, when people do drink it, I think
That's the
I
kind
know
of
a lot of people
feeling
that
I
go
get.
for like a pint of it or have lots of them. My brother only ever had like a half, I think. So
Yeah, I
it's an
don't.
acquired taste, but I'm glad broad.
Started you mean to go on?
Broad.
Wow.
You know what I meant. Horizons and shit.
Expanding
Yeah.
said horizons with
Broadening.
beer. Broadening the horizon. Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I don't
But
know.
yeah, so that's the first one. I do. Yeah, it's very nice. I think it's quite nice.
This tart
Scottish-
ale. I like they call it a
Scottish
tart
brewery.
ale. You tart ale.
Yeah, it's in Aberdeen.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's
So-
not beautiful. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm not a fan of it. There we go. First one straight away. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, we give honest reviews of it on
We do.
Glass Half Film. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's quite nice. It does
You
taste
like
a
it?
bit like sour sweets. But
divisive. Like the Last Jedi.
we won't go into that.
We
just
won't
yet.
go into that. Right, okay. Well, kind of the premise of this is that we really give you your fix of news for the week as well, in terms of
Yep.
film, TV, and everything else in between, as I said. On the film side of things, we've obviously getting into awards season
Yes.
this time of year. So Sunday, Golden Globes, the precursor for the Oscars, if you shall. The starter before the mains. Maybe the canapes. I mean, the canapes probably in the middle are the SAG Awards and the Production Director Awards. I like to give analogies like this.
I do kind of
I
feel
like food.
I do kind of feel that with the Golden Globes though and things like that, people are always trying to. It's almost like a competition with the Oscars in terms of you think they're going to go for the dead cert.
Yep.
And it's like almost like the Oscars do the same. Like if they've picked their best film, they kind of go, well, no, we're gonna, they went with Moonlight last year, and you thought that they were gonna go with La La Land, but I think the Golden Globes did go with La La Land. So it's a bit like I always feel that, yeah, they kind of try to one up each other,
Yeah, definitely.
which makes it a bit more interesting because you don't want like when Lord of the Rings just won everything.
I like
at
that
every
though.
award ceremony.
It was like the
Yeah, but it's what's the point in watching it?
it's like the Barcelona of award shows, wasn't it? Just turned up and won
Yeah.
everything and fucked off.
Yeah, just Brazil.
Absolutely. But this time around, I think for the first time in a while, we don't have a clear front runner for best film or a number of categories.
No, I don't think there's not as many hype films. I don't
No.
feel.
I think last year we had, like you said, La La Land,
Moonlight,
and those were the two big front runners.
Lion.
This time around, we tend to have like a handful going into awards season.
Yeah.
And obviously with the Golden Globes, it's quite hard to really predict which way it's going to go, because you do have in the best film category and the best actors and the best actresses, it's split in terms of drama and comedy.
Yeah.
So one of the funny pieces of news going into this was obviously the fact that Get Out classified itself as a best comedy or musical.
The thing that got me with that as well is that the director kind of said, "Oh, he just wanted to get in there."
Yeah.
And I thought, why wouldn't this film get in there
Yeah.
in just the best film category? I mean, people label it as like a horror film, but I don't really. I think it's more of a suspense film than it is like a horror film. But
No, I'm with you on that as well. And when you look at the best film nominations for the Golden Globes, I think it would have been a shoo-in in comparison to some of the ones that were in there.
yeah, I mean, because I know The Greatest Showman's in there. But
Well,
it's
that's in the
but it's-
comedy one and the
and
musical
it's in
one.
a musical,
Yeah.
but I kind of feel like that's because that's not been received very well by like critics. So you would have thought that Get Out would have got ahead of like quite a few films. I don't know who was in the nominees for like for all the for like the best movie and stuff.
For the
like
best film, you had 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
that. Yep.
Spoiler alert, that one won. So just going to ruin that bit of news before you go into it. The Shape of Water, Guillermo
yeah.
del Toro's film. Dunkirk, obviously Christopher Nolan. The Post, with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks, which sounded like the most Oscar bait film going.
Yeah, of course.
Didn't really get that many other nominations actually for the Golden Globes. And Call Me by Your Name, which is the one starring Arnie Hammer and someone else, and it's like to do with same-sex couple type thing. I don't really know what it's about, but it's
probably about same-sex couples.
It's set in Europe, so it's it's fancy like that, Italian.
Is that?
Yeah. Set a film in Italy with a same-sex couple, you're doing all right for the Oscars, I think.
Yeah, I think you're dead set.
There's a lot of. I mean, as I said, the best motion picture category did have a couple of those in the Post, all to do with a political scandal starring Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. That's Oscars, right there.
Yeah.
But I think Get Out would have got in there above the Post for me.
Yeah, but then again, the Academy and people like that, they're made up of old men, like who don't really give a shit about a black guy fighting racism.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of whitewashing been going on in Hollywood for years in terms of. Don't think there was a single black person who got nominated last year.
No,
or the year before. No, it was the year before.
Mahershala Ali. He was the
No,
guy
but
from.
No, it was the year before when Chris Rock
Yeah.
hosted it.
Yeah.
And there was no nominations
Yeah.
for black people.
But that's bigger than us, Sean. We can't deal with that on this show. We'll just drink our sour beers and discuss,
Well, I'll drink the sour beer.
Yeah, I'll sip it. I'll sip it slowly.
You have to.
And really hope we finish the news quick so that I can have another one. If that's all right. But yeah, the big news was that 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, which is Martin McDonough. Martin McDonough?
Yeah, he did In Bruges.
Yeah, and 7 Psychopaths.
I haven't actually seen it.
Really good as well. It follows a similar sort of style, a lot of swearing. It's very sort of crazy in terms of the way in which the storyline goes. As I said, a lot of swearing.
Yeah.
And from the trailer of what I can see of 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, that follows a similar template. A lot of fucking swearing in that one.
Yeah. Well, I listened to an interview with him on a podcast, and it actually made me want to watch it because I wasn't interested at all. But like I didn't know Sam Rockwell was in it.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good in everything, really.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking forward to watching it.
Some people just play a crazy guy very well.
Yeah, apparently he does play a crazy racist.
There we go, Sam Rockwell for you.
So...
but yeah, as I said, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. The big winner, screenplay for Martin McDonough again. He wrote the original screenplay for this one, drama, best film, and supporting actor for Mr. Rockwell himself.
Sweet.
And actress for Frances McDormand. Is it Frances McDormand? I mean,
yeah,
that's the name, isn't it?
One from Almost Famous.
Yeah, and she's in.
She always plays like a mum.
Fargo. She's in a lot of,
she is.
A lot of Coen Brothers films.
Yeah.
I think
she's
from memory.
good. She's good. Yeah, she's in Kingpin, I think, as well.
Yeah.
She's like his landlord at the beginning.
Again, plays a sort of out there, sort of kooky, crazy.
She's good though. I really like her.
I like her.
I think she's
like
really
her.
good.
As I said, in terms of best actor in a drama motion picture, this one, try and pick. This is a smorgasbord of fantastic actors. Smorgasbord.
Yeah, well,
I think that's a real word. I don't know.
I've never heard.
Answers on a postcard. I don't think if it. I think it is. I've heard it in stuff. Smorgasbord. I don't know if it's like some sort of
I swear
board.
you've made that up.
No, honestly.
Well, no, I don't think you made it up. I think it might just be the name of a board.
Well, like some sort of cheese board?
Yeah, like a surfboard.
A game board.
Mate, I ended up getting wasted down the smorgasbord last night. It's like a pub.
Brilliant. But as I said, an array of superb actors is what I was getting at.
Yeah, I kind of got what it... Yeah,
right.
Just move on.
Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour.
Uh-huh.
Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread. Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire. Don't know what that one is. And Tom Hanks for The Post. And this guy, a European, from Call Me By Your Name, Timothée Chalamet. I think I'm saying that right.
I would have put money on Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, if I told you that Gary Oldman was portraying Winston Churchill in a biopic and he wears prosthetics, you'd change your mind, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I've heard he's very good in it. Though.
Well, I watched the trailer and I couldn't fucking believe it was him. It's nuts. It doesn't look anything like him.
And everything, though, isn't he?
Yeah. So, well done, Gary.
Well done, Gaz.
Gazza.
Come a long way since playing Sid Vicious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's played everyone, though, hasn't he, really?
It's fucking dreadful.
Yeah. And the best of the rest in terms of the film side of things, you had The Disaster Artist with James Franco winning the best actor from the comedy side of things, and
Good shout.
yeah,
I haven't seen it, but
and
I know you
best picture for the musical and comedy side of things, where you had Get Out, The Disaster Artist in that category. Lady Bird won, which is the one
that's apparently really good.
starring Saoirse Ryan.
Yeah, it's got 100% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Saoirse Ryan? Is that how you say her name? Saoirse. She's Irish. I don't.
Why are you talking like Sean Connery?
Because there's a lot of S's in it.
A lot of S's in Sean Seymour, but you don't say Sean Seymour.
Sometimes I do. If I feel like it.
Okay.
If I've had a few, bit of whiskey, and I'll say her name, Saoirse Ryan. That's horrible. I'd never say that.
dreadful,
It's
yeah.
horrible. But obviously, it's not just films celebrated at this award show, is it, Sean?
No.
No, it's not. It's TV as well.
Yep.
And the big winner for TV, you're a big fan of it, Big Little Lies.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly. I've never watched it either, so we're a bit stuck on this one, aren't we?
I think I've seen the trailer on the telly, but
Honestly, I've got no idea.
yeah,
I've got no idea on this
There's
one.
things that win like at the Emmys though, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
There's something that starred Jessica Lange.
This one, right? So in the actors category, Alexander Skarsgård won
Yes.
for it. He's been in stuff, hasn't he?
Skarsgård.
Yeah, he's been in stuff,
Which
hasn't he?
one is he?
The younger one,
The one who's Pennywise.
maybe. Oh wait, no, wait. Yeah, there's Skarsgård brothers, isn't there?
And there's the dad who's in the
Thor.
Avengers films. Yeah.
Yes, not him, not the dad, and not Pennywise.
Yeah. The other one.
The other
what? The one who was in True Blood?
Honestly, I possibly. Who knows? Maybe. I'm going to say
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
My
I
guess
think,
is yes.
What's his name?
Alexander.
I think the one who played Tarzan.
Again, I'm going to say yes. Because I don't think Tarzan looked like Pennywise.
No.
So I'm going to
Depends
assume.
what kind of age you were talking about. Yeah.
He won for Best Actor. Nicole Kidman for Best Actress.
Right.
Or Best Supporting. I
I
can
like the way
remember.
they're taken on the small screen now.
Yeah, and Laura
A lot
Dern as well. Of
Jurassic
Jurassic
Park.
Park fame. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Last Jedi.
Yeah. That was good, wasn't
We
it?
won't talk about that again. Come on, let's not bring that up. And obviously one TV series drama as well. So 4 wins for that one, and yeah, kind of ran away. That was the story on the TV side of things. Aziz Ansari, my man, won for Best Actor in a comedy series for
Yeah. Master of None.
Master of None.
I love Master of None.
That is definitely my pick for comedy TV series for last year, and possibly TV series for last year.
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend tried to get me to watch it, and she called me a bit of a hater because I used to like pick at it a little bit, but I watched the Deaf episode.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Some of the best TV I've ever seen.
Superb. Yeah.
And the way it all comes together at the end, because it's all like the cab drivers, and then they all go to watch that film. And I just think the way it concludes is really intelligent writing.
For-
I think the one with and then there's the one with Thanksgiving, where it like shows them when they're kids.
And it progresses
And then
throughout the years.
That was amazing.
So
I
for
absolutely loved
for
it.
some of our listeners that don't know, Master of None is a sort of comedy slash it's a comedy slash real sort of drama type sort of series. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's comedy. It takes elements from
It's
it
very
all.
dry.
It follows
But it's
Aziz
very
Ansari.
real.
Aziz Ansari is a comedian. If some of you don't know, stand-up comedian. I believe he write this as well. I can't
Yeah, he
remember.
starred
wrote,
and directed
starred,
with-
wrote, and
The guy who plays Arnold, maybe.
yeah, he's great as well. And it follows Aziz Ansari's character, you know, in the fact that he is a master of none in sort of all walks of life.
Yeah.
Or in his opinion. I mean, you take a step back from it, he is obviously he's an actor,
He's
isn't he?
kinda
Or a
killing
TV
it, really.
personality, and he's killing it in the
Yeah.
second series. But it is great as well. You're rooting for him throughout the first season, but the second series for me was great. That was the one that came out last
Yeah,
year.
I'm going to go and rewatch the first because I haven't watched it since I didn't think much of it. But the second series really won me over.
Yeah.
Just those 2 episodes were just great, I thought.
It made me want to move to Italy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It
that's
makes
one.
you want to eat constantly.
Yeah, the pasta.
They love, like,
oh, God.
yeah, and like they're always going for tapas
Yeah.
and Indian, and it's, yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
But it's got some great moments in that as a TV series. I'd recommend watching that, but I'd also recommend watching any of his stand-up. Fucking
Yeah,
superb.
and he's in Parks and Recs and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's
It's turned into the Aziz Ansari Appreciation Hour.
yeah. I mean, yeah, he's great. He is good.
But yeah, we'll be touching on some more TV news later. But that was the Golden Globes wrap-up
Yep.
should we say? And obviously, following on from that, it really doesn't give us that much of an indication of what they're going to do for the Oscars. Following on from the Golden Globes, we did have the BAFTA nominations, which I suppose
I haven't seen them.
is in the bronze position on the podium in terms of the awards
Unless
seasons.
you're British and then you like, it's better than the Oscar.
Yeah, well, they just
So
say
much
that.
better.
Yeah, but they the problem with it, I think, is that they go for so many British films in it. But this time around,
I do quite like that though.
the front runner, in terms of nominations, The Shape of Water,
Amazing.
Guillermo del Toro's one, with 12 nominations.
That's good.
I've been lucky enough to see it already.
Same.
It is, fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it.
Truly deserved. But we'll discuss that as well further down the line, I
Yep.
think, in terms of that as a film. 12 nominations for that. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, with 9 nominations. And then both Dunkirk and Blade Runner 2049 with 8 nominations.
Oh wow.
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it, really, that the fact that Blade Runner and Dunkirk with such a high nominations on this one, whereas at the Golden Globes, they weren't really at that level in terms of the nominations. Obviously, they'll get a lot of technical nominations for it,
Yeah.
but I think it was well received, Blade Runner, by the critics. And I think we'll touch on this in our review of 2017 as well. But
Yes, for sure.
an interesting one for the BAFTAs, and that really, as I said, wraps up my point of saying that there is no clear frontrunner in this Oscars race.
No. That's good though.
Yeah.
I
love
mean,
that.
like there was a few years ago when Spotlight won the best
Yeah.
picture Oscar. Like that was kind of a look.
A load of different options, weren't
Yeah,
there? for that year?
yeah. And then it would end up being like Spotlight, which I loved. I think it's great. It's probably it's up there with one of my favourite.
Was that the same year as you had like The Fighter and things like that then? Was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
think
think
of
so. I
what
think
else
it's
was that year.
2008, maybe no, 2000.
A bit sooner than that, I think. We're forgetting that we're in 2018 now, Sean.
Oh Jesus.
I know.
But yeah, I like the BAFTAs in terms of they always try and be a bit different.
The British representation. Well,
Yeah,
it's been a bit
'cause,
different
like-
this year as well. We got Joanna Lumley of AbFab fame
Right.
presenting it
Oh, really?
instead of the ever-present Stephen Fry.
I'm surprised they didn't get. No, Spotlight was 2015.
There we go. See, it wasn't that long ago. Come on, let's not reminisce too hard. It was 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's mental, but it's great.
Yeah.
I can't believe I thought it was 2008. It's fucking ridiculous.
You're pining for a better time of years gone by, and it's 3 years ago. Sean.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But award season, we're coming into it. We're hitting the ground running. As I said, we've got everything leading up to the Oscars now, so we'll probably be discussing it again. I think we're going to do a bit of a wrap-up of award season for the final week before the
I think
Oscars.
we might do.
An Oscars prediction.
Yeah, we might do a little Oscars commentary, perhaps.
Maybe a little sweepstake.
Yeah,
A little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll put something on YouTube or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not podcast related, but
Shave our heads or something for it.
no.
Something wacky.
You can shave your head.
I don't want to do that. It's a beautiful mane.
What if I shave my head and you should? Nah, that's ridiculous. I was going to say you shave your beard, but you'll look fine and I'll look
Yeah, bald.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
My meatball head.
You look like Sean Dyche,
Yeah.
Burnley football manager.
Especially since
Google it.
my beard is no longer with me.
I'm Sean Dyche here.
No one's going to get that.
Come on, they'll Google it. They'll maybe watch a little interview of him and it will make
Oh,
sense.
Just going to start watching Match of the Day.
Yeah, why not? That's my TV
on the
suggestion,
back, on the
people.
back of
I'll tell you-
that impression.
I'll tell you what, that show is going to be huge this year. Match of the Day. That's my prediction for 2018. But yeah, to wrap up a bit of film news outside of the awards, Kendrick Lamar is curating the Black Panther soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, he is in charge of putting it together for the
Pretty
Black
sure
Panther
it's already
soundtrack.
done.
No. Well, he was.
So he's been involved.
He's been involved.
They
in it,
haven't
yeah.
just
I'm
got
not
it
saying
in.
they've just gone shit. We haven't got a soundtrack. Kendrick, can you sort this out?
Oh, okay. That's good.
So he's doing that. They released a track on, I think it was Thursday of last week, with him and SZA.
Oh, mate, I did not like that.
Did you not?
No.
I liked it.
I just thought, because I've been, funnily enough, recently, because I think he's going to headline Primavera.
Yeah.
I've kind of been going back to like, what is it, Section 80?
Section 80, yeah.
Yeah, and like earlier stuff, and it's so good. I
Yeah.
mean, Damn's amazing. I
Yeah.
think it's really good.
It is, isn't it? But I like the fact
but
that
that new one that they were just released, I was a bit like, but to be honest though, now you've said it's for a film,
yeah.
for Black Panther, it kind of I think if I had the context first,
Yeah.
it would make me listen to it differently. Do you know what I mean?
Well, as I said, it's an interesting one. Black Panther, obviously, for some people that don't know, it's the Marvel film coming out February, isn't it? Well, it's coming out in February. I know this because that's Black History Month as well. So I like how they're tying up a lot of these things. You know, the first black superhero film. You know, let's put it out on Black History Month. For me, it's a historic time for it. Why not?
Yeah.
It's a reason to celebrate it as well. And I don't want people looking at this and going, they're just, you know, they're really sort of going to town on it just because it's all encompassing, it's all black and everything, whatever. But it's like,
but that's kind
fucking
of what
hell,
it
celebrate
needs.
it.
Yeah,
It needs to be
that's
that.
what it needs to be. You wouldn't want fucking Britney Spears doing it, would you? Like, it needs to be in keeping with.
We've got
culture,
Macklemore
like-
doing the soundtrack.
Yeah. Did you hear about the pin badge? Controversy.
Controversy.
I'm talking about you.
No, thank you.
Did you not hear about the pin badge, the Black Panther one? So Disney.
Go on.
So Disney released a pin badge that they've been selling in their shops with the Black Panther face, but it's a white guy.
Well, that's contradictory,
Well, yeah.
to say the least.
And everyone's booting off, which
Well,
they
it
should
should
be. Like, because the mask is on, but on the eyes you can see his white cheeks, and it looks insane.
That's insane.
I know. I can't believe, and I don't like whoever works at Disney that okayed that is fired. Like, how do you let that one slip past your net?
Yeah, it's quite an obvious thing to see, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is mental.
Losing the title.
It's been sold there for like 3 months or so, I think. And only someone's just been like, hold on.
I don't understand that sort of shit when it goes wrong in a company and it's like glaringly obvious.
Well,
or
yeah,
something.
because I mean that was just it. Yeah, it's insane because the company you have to be thorough with your merchandising, surely. But then again, Disney also released that fucking Emma Watson Beauty and the Beast doll, and it looked like Justin Bieber. So
we can let him off, can we? They're
No.
a multi-billion-dollar company. We can't, can we?
no, can't get away with that shit.
Bastards. Attention to detail. Come on. Walt
Quality
wouldn't stand
control.
for it. Walt would not stand for it. God rest his soul. TV news. Now,
Okay.
proper TV
Go ahead.
news. After a little dabbling in it when it came to the awards season, a sprinkling of TV news, shall I say, in the Golden Globes.
Found them.
Blue Planet 2, and the sort of TV ratings for last year came
Yeah.
out generally for the UK.
Mhm.
Blue Planet 2, the first episode of that, had the highest ratings of any TV show in the UK.
That's good.
Restores a bit of faith, doesn't it, in things?
Yeah, but especially as we live in a world that there's soap operas on every day, and
Mhm.
people tuning into Mrs. Brown's Boys on that. I think that got the highest thing on Christmas Day one year. So
I remember my dad showing me Mrs. Brown's Boys and telling me, son, you need to watch this. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I reeled off dozens and dozens of other TV shows that I'm sure and adamant that he would deem to be funnier than Mrs. Brown's Boys.
well, so it's funnier than Only Fools
Only
and
Fools
Horses.
and Horses, The Office,
The Office,
Vicar
yeah.
of Dibley, Father Ted. I just went through them all, and my dad was like, "No, honestly, it's funnier. It's funnier, Luke. This will have you rolling on the floor laughing. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Honestly, watch it. Watch it." 20 minutes in, I hadn't batted an eyelid. I remained fixated on the TV, but I just kept turning to my dad, going, "What the shit is this? What the shit is this? What is so funny about a man dressed as a woman but doing a really, really, really poor performance of it? Like, we're not in
Yeah.
the 70s, Dad.
And it's not
This shit ain't funny
Mrs.
anymore."
Doubtfire,
Yeah.
like, kind of like emotional level.
Yeah, it's really not. It's like weird. It's not like, you know, they're all just walking around
obviously
pretending
just
that it is a woman, and
it's
it's
obviously
like,
just a
I don't really
chopper in a
understand.
wig.
Yeah, it's a weird one. And yeah, he was just like, you're just not laughing because you want to prove a point. You want to prove a point. No, I'm not. It's just not fucking funny, Dad. It's not funny at all.
No, I concur.
But sorry, I went off on one about Mrs. Brown's Boys. I could really, really go to town on that one. But let's bring it back in. The
Blue
good
Planet
news.
2.
Blue Planet 2.
It was
restored
great.
our faith in things as being the highest rated TV programme in the UK. So thank you, general
But
public of the UK.
I mean, it also kind of, you know, I was a bit gutted for humanity after watching it.
Oh, the final episode's like that, isn't it?
And the final episode was, and just because the thing with Blue Planet and Planet Earth and all those kind of David Attenborough things is something you watch when you're hanging. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm a bit hungover, I'm going to pop on David Attenborough to make you forget. But then at the end of every single Blue Planet episode this time, there was something about too much plastic or too much. So I was a bit like, oh God, I couldn't even. The last 5 minutes, I was just a bit gutted. But It is quite devastating to watch, because you hear him talk about scuba diving when he was 20. And it's like, it looks nothing like that now. You're like, oh man.
Well, it's needed in a world like this.
Of course it is, yeah, and I'm glad, because it makes people that might not be thinking about what they're doing with plastic or whatever to voice their opinions on it and maybe change, which is good.
There we
And
go.
if that many people are watching it, you've got to think that they're at least going to take the lid off something before they chuck it in the recycling.
Or there's just
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do something, but at least, as long as, I think, if you're going to trust anyone, you're going to trust David Attenborough, aren't you?
Or the lasting impression on people was to sort of be like, did you see that fucking fish with the massive head last night?
Yeah, the one that looked like Jay Leno.
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't think things like that existed. Yeah, fucking funny
Yeah,
as
yeah.
fuck. Yeah. Is that what you took away from an hour episode about?
Is that what you
Wonders
took
of-
away?
I didn't actually watch it.
What?
I don't know.
You're vegan.
That means nothing.
You should want to save the world.
Yeah, but I'm doing that, so I don't need to watch Blue Planet. I'm not doing that, so
Why
I
don't
don't
you
need
like
to watch
it?
Blue Planet. I'm just saying, I do actually like those programs. I really liked Planet Earth. Blue Planet.
I have two.
Yes, yeah.
Blue Planet's my favourite one.
Well, anyways, that's the TV and film news for the week. Wrapped up nicely there with a bit of positive news and optimistic news about the fact that the planet is falling to pieces. Thanks, David Attenborough. But moving swiftly on to our second tipple of the evening. Sean, what have you got for us from Jimmy from Brewdog? Cheers, Jimmy.
It's called Slot Machine.
Slot Machine.
It's a Brewdog.
So that's a
Do
great
you
name.
remember I think we were in Spoons and we got Shipyard, the rye version.
Yes.
Well, it says it's a red rye IPA, so I'm hoping it might be a bit like that.
Did I like that?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. Maybe I'll like it to sort of, take this sour
I'm
taste
not
away from my
like
mouth. Do you know what? I realised what it tastes like. And I don't know why I know what it tastes like, right? But do you remember when you'd have like tinned fruit when you were a kid?
sort of.
I don't have it anymore. It's one of those things I grew out of. I'd have fresh fruit now. Proper fucking vegan.
Fresh fruit that's been
Yeah,
sprayed.
absolutely.
Fuck knows what to keep it fresh.
no, I get it organic from the organic store, or I get it from the fruit and veg lady from the grocers, and she tells me she doesn't spray no pesticides on them whatsoever. What's going on with my face when I'm doing that? Is it a good face?
No,
You don't like it?
no. I thought you would still be affected by the sour beer.
Yeah, pretty much, maybe. It's really hit my head. Yeah, it tastes like the sort of syrup in that, but the syrup's just gone off. I'm ripping this drink to pieces, aren't I?
Yeah,
But
I liked it.
I think it's an acquired taste. You
Yeah.
like it, I don't.
Alright.
Divisive. Okay, so slot machine.
Slot
then.
machine, let's have a taste.
Go on then.
So,
Go for it.
Brewdog are normally quite good. So
I like the can. I always like the Brewdog cans though.
that is very nice.
Yep, that's better. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it says suitable for vegans on the back.
it's a proper man's one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. I like it. I'm not
Or
really
any
normally-
gender, any gender.
I'm not
you know,
really.
just, you
Oh
know,
God, you're at it again.
it's 2018. I'm just I've got to make sure.
Yeah, slot machine, very nice.
I wonder what it would have tasted like if I had this first and then the sour one. Luckily, I've got a little bit left of the sour one, so I might just dabble in between the two for a short moment.
That's what you want to do to yourself.
I'm fucking wild like that. It's a Wednesday night, why not?
nice.
But yes, now going into the main event of the podcast itself, our best films of 2017. And it was only when I sat down, I didn't sit down, I've been walking around mainly thinking about my 2017 list and best of the year. And Sean's just found some slippers on my floor and just put them on.
Sorry.
Fair play, I definitely would if I was you.
Mate, it's getting a bit chilly, isn't it?
Oh mate, I've got a Dyson heater over there, but nah, it's going to be noisy, innit? Nah, don't do that.
Okay,
Don't say that one.
I'll just keep your slippers on then.
Yeah, you think Dyson would have sorted that out, just a no noise heater in some way. I'll have a word. But anyways, yeah, in terms of 2017 as a year, it was only when I sat down, had a real think about it, and went through all the films I actually watched in the cinema this year that I realised it was a fucking good year for cinema. And you're silly not to think that as well.
Well, yeah, I have a top 10, and then I almost have another top 10 of honourable mentions.
Yeah.
So I think I have more honourable mentions.
Well,
which is
I think
rare,
it's worth us maybe mentioning those afterwards, because
Oh yeah, definitely.
the thing
We're not gonna do
the
that
thing
for-
here we've gone for, people, is that we haven't shown each other our top 10s at all, and we've been discussing it for the past couple of months, really, our top 10s, but
Yeah.
not actually giving away anything at all.
Since
November,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
say
I think no, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because it was pre Star Wars.
It was. God. And let's be honest, that's what put you off going to the cinema again by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I said to you earlier, I haven't seen a film since Star Wars in the cinema.
I really hope it hasn't put you off cinema or film.
It's not getting an honourable mention.
No.
I mean,
Surprise, neither
I might
am I.
talk about it just to vent some more anger.
No.
But, no, yeah, but I haven't been there since, so I've missed out on a couple that you may have in yours, but...
We'll see. But the way which we're going to do this, people, is to sort of, I suppose, keep the suspense going and the surprise of what is coming next in the top 10. I think we're going to go, both reveal our 10 to 1, but go in alternate manner of it all, really, I suppose. alternate what? What do I want to say on that? Ascending, alternate.
We'll both take it in turns.
We'll take it in turns, yeah.
For God's sake.
I just needed more words there, didn't I? I definitely needed more words.
No more sour beer for you, Luke.
The sour beer's fucking me. So yeah, I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to start first, or do you want to let me start first? What do you want to do? Do you want to rock, paper, scissors it? Go old school?
Yeah.
Yeah? I'm going to go rock, paper, scissors, go.
1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh. You can go first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 10, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, sorry. And I've just interrupted your 10 there, but I just want to explain to people that our top 10s are films released in the UK. So films that came out in the cinema in the UK in 2017. So even though some of the films that are nominated for Oscars and whatnot for the past year are coming up now, those films, some of them haven't been released in the UK in 2017. So it's films released in 2017 in the UK in the cinema. So Sean,
and what's mine, Luke?
hit us with number 10.
Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
Number 10. Loved it. Really liked it. I'm quite a fan of Thor in that cinematic universe anyway. I think it's very underrated because I don't think a lot of people give a shit about Thor in terms of, they're like Spider-Man and Captain America and Hulk. But yeah, I really liked Thor Ragnarok, and I thought it was like Taika Waititi just made it had that spin on it where it was just really funny and it was really good, and I just and I'd watch it again. I meant to go back, but I didn't. But
well, I did end up seeing that one as well because I was actually away at the time you went to go and see that,
Yeah.
wasn't I? For some reason, I can't remember what, but I watched it and yeah, hilarious.
yeah, great.
A great take on a Marvel film.
Yeah, and Taika Waititi. Have you seen Hunt for the Wilder People?
Yep, loved it.
So it's like
That was my favourite film of the year before.
yeah, it's amazing, really good, and like he did a film called Eagle vs Shark years ago, which is hilarious. It's
And he
got
also
Jermaine
did
Clement in
What
it.
We Do in the Shadows,
Yes, yeah, and he stars in that
which
as well.
you can find.
with,
You can find What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People on Netflix.
Oh, What We Do in the Shadows is off that now.
Bloody bastards!
But it was an iPlayer for a bit. I don't know if it still is.
Ugh.
But it's great. Yeah, it's really good. I loved Jeff Goldblum in it. I thought he was great. I just as like an action film, it's solid.
Good. And
all
comedy.
The performances are great.
It's
And
gotta
yeah, and as I wouldn't have been surprised if that had edged into the category at the Golden Globes in the comedy.
the comedy side of
yeah,
things. Well,
I wouldn't have been surprised, but I'm not surprised that it did.
no, that's it. Well, it's general consensus. They like to go
Yeah.
for something a little bit kooky. I don't know that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So number 10 for you, Thor Ragnarok. Number 10 for me, Lady Macbeth.
Okay.
I told you about this, didn't I,
You
when
did,
I
yeah,
watched
yeah.
it, and I urged you to view it, and it got into my top 10. It could have gone higher for me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not what it says on the tin. I don't want you thinking that it is a Shakespeare film in any way, shape, or form. It's a very, it's dark and bleak, but it just continues to spiral, to
Yeah.
the point that you're not expecting it, and it just keeps surprising you. You're watching it, and it's more and more. It grabs your attention more and more, and it's fucking thrilling. Really, by the end of it, you're
Yeah.
you're gripped by it. I mean, I remember I was watching it, I think hungover on a Sunday on my sofa, led down, and by the end of it, I was on the edge of my seat,
Yeah, yeah.
head in my hands, fuck.
That is good when a film does that as well.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
it really takes you by surprise.
Yeah, and also as well, the thing that I wanted to put this in my top 10 about as well, I think it's one of the most underrated performances in film of the year. Florence Pugh, who's a bit of a newcomer to it all as well.
What's she been in?
She's actually, I don't know what else she's been in, but she was nominated for the Rising Star they do at the BAFTAs. So she's been nominated for that.
And
she was
Lady
superb.
Macbeth.
Yeah, she is Lady Macbeth. I don't want to give too much away, but definitely would recommend it in terms of performance, but also how thrilling it is. The way in which they edit it all as well. There's a lot of silence in it. So it just grips you from that point of view as well. But I'd strongly recommend that film. Number 10 in mine, Lady Macbeth.
Good.
Number 9 for you, Sean.
Number 9, I've gone with Blade Runner 2049.
Wow, okay.
I feel like it could have gone higher if the other films that precede it weren't as high quality as they were.
Really?
I thought it could have been a bit shorter, and I think maybe it would have gone higher if it was. But then again, the scenes where, I mean, the cinematography is insane. The scenes where it is like wide-angle shots of cars going through cities and deserts and stuff, and like the music is, and the opening scene is one of the best opening scenes I've seen all year. Straight into it off the bat, Ryan Gosling down on the ground. Like Dave Bautista, who's in it,
who I love.
Yeah, great. And they go straight into it. He's a replicant, but he's like hunting replicants. You're immediately like, there's no. I think with Blade Runner, there was a lot more of like mythology around it, whereas like this was very much for people who had already seen Blade Runner, and you just like, I didn't want another hour of filler and trying to like just like see where people are and see, like, I was glad that it was like, right, this where they are, this is where this body's buried, this is what this is for, like it was very
it was clear to see that it was accepted very well by the critics, but box office wise didn't do too well.
Yeah,
I think it done well with audiences. The people that went to see it fucking loved it.
But I think that's the thing with a cult film though.
Yeah,
it didn't do well the first time either. I mean, we went to see the director's cut, didn't we?
Yeah. Before it, so we kind of did a bit of a long delay back to back, didn't we?
But like, if they had shown that director's cut once a day for 2 weeks, I think it would have sold out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think in 10 years' time, maybe 20, whatever, people will go back to that movie. But I don't think they need to do another one. I think they can probably leave it there. But I think the performances were great. The woman who played the police chief, she's in House of Cards. She was amazing in it. Mm-hmm. She was really good. And Jared Leto was good. I really liked him in it.
Sort of inspired the look that I'm going for, really, hasn't he? So
yes.
I've got to give a lot to Leto for that film. But number 9 for you, Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner 2049, yeah.
Number 9 for me, Dunkirk.
Ah, okay.
Dunkirk, a Christopher Nolan film with the typical Christopher Nolan cast with Cillian Murphy, a number of others. A very different Christopher Nolan film, kind of taking on a bit of a true story with things.
Yeah, I think,
or at least a true event.
But I think kind of the way it's done is, you know, like Memento and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's very, I think it's very Nolan, but taking on something that's actually fact. Yeah, and I portraying it that well is good though.
I really liked the multi-strand story that came with it, and it all met at the end. It was different time sort of periods of how long things took to get to that point. But I loved how that was done.
And I like.
I think a lot of people said to me that they didn't like the fact that it was quite confusing on that. I was like, how could you get confused by this? It was very simply done, really, when you looked at it, with Tom Hardy's character, Cillian Murphy's character, and obviously Harry Styles and the kid on the beach. Which no performances in this I hated either. No. I mean, Harry Styles in it I was absolutely fine with.
I think
to be fair.
Until the end, when he gets too much dialogue, I think that just shows his inexperience as an actor. I just thought it was a bit like reading from a paper. But when he was like in the moment with things, I thought he was great in it. I thought it is a bit weird that they all look like stylish 2017 kids though. Do you know what I mean? All the soldiers were a bit like, the hair was all done a certain way. I don't know if it's because of the way kids dress now.
That's but or, mate, have you not seen it? I'm going to show you after this. I'm going to show you a photo of my granddad from the war.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking dude.
Yeah.
He's got the fuckboy short back and sides look going on.
But I like the
shout out to Joey.
Big shout out to Joey. I like the fact that Mark Kermode always says about Nolan films is Nolan trusts that the audience are smart enough to keep up. Where a lot of films like Transformers films and stuff like that, they have to like explain everything as it's happening. And I really like that Nolan's like, I'm not going to dumb this down for you. like you either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
And he trusts that people are going to get it.
It's a historical like action war film, really, and that the fact it could have been quite dumbed down.
Yeah,
I love the fact it was done by Nolan.
Yeah, and it could have been another Saving Private Ryan on the beach type thing. Do you know what I mean? But it had so many layers to it.
It's got some great standout moments for me in this film. Full stop. Like I'd like to do my top 10 in terms of moments that stand out to me, or a film that's going to stand out to me. It's going to stand the test of time. Dunkirk's going to do that for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's coming at number 9 for me. What's number 8 for you, Sean?
Number 8 for me is Logan. Logan. This creeped in recently above Thor and Blade Runner because I watched it in black and white.
Wow. Did you mean to?
With the Blu-ray you get a noir version, which is basically black and white.
Very nice.
Because obviously it's portrayed a bit like a Western. The story's a bit like that, like an old beat up guy who's on the run a little bit. But seeing it in black and white, I was just like, it had more of an effect, I think. And the stuff, definitely. Like even the gory stuff, I thought it was perfect with black and white because it wasn't as obvious and in your face sort of thing. But
in terms of that, those Marvel films, it's the best of the bunch, is it not?
Yeah, I mean it's head and shoulders above
any
X-Men film for me.
Yeah.
I think Deadpool creeps up as like a close second, but just for the tone, I think they prove that they can do a comic book film R-rated, and I hope long may that continue.
Absolutely. So number 8 for you, Logan.
Yeah.
Number 8 for me, La La Land.
Okay.
Yeah, number 8, La La Land. I remember watching this film in the cinema with yourself and our good friend Sammy Spencer, probably down at the docks as we speak.
Yeah.
And we watched it, 3 men going to watch this film, a musical. I mean, the fact that it had Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone in it probably drew us in. But we watched it, we sat down, we all turned to each other at certain points and were like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
All the way through it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge jazz fan. I know you're not, but I love jazz. So I did like the whole jazz portrayal with Ryan Gosling's character as well. I like the fact it didn't go down the whole route with the plot as well of just following a standard Hollywood thing. The reason it's not as high as it maybe could be on my list, again, is a testament to how good this year has been in films for me. It does stand out. The soundtrack, I think, is superb. The soundtrack is something else. I have it. I have a copy of it. I listen to it just sometimes out of the blue, doing the washing. I'll just be listening to it, and it's great. But yeah, for me, it's just not as high because I think I got caught up in a bit of not the hype, but a lot of the surrounding Oscar buzz with it, maybe a little bit. But I don't know. I really do like it. But I think it's a testament to what else is on my list more than anything else.
I will go into it later.
Absolutely. So number 8 for me, La La Land. Number 7 for you.
Number 7 for me is a film by Ken Loach. It's called I, Daniel Blake.
Oh, okay.
Came out in January, so it's easy to forget.
Snuck in.
About that, really. But it's great. Like, it's real. The thing with the film is, it proper got me. Like, you said about Lady Macbeth, and you were started off let down, and then but it gripped me in like a different way. Like, it had me like by my heartstrings massively. It seems so real, like the people and the situation, and it's about. There's a scene that takes place in a food bank, and to anyone who, I mean, the film's about people trying to get on the dole and people being, on the fringes of society a little bit. And trying to make it work with. And
is Daniel Blake someone who's downtrodden in society?
Yeah. So he's basically he's been signed off work by the doctor, but they won't give him benefits for it.
It's very much a true thing that's going on in the world at the moment, isn't it?
And fair play to the actors and actresses that play the characters in the job centre, because you would think that this is because I've had to go down the job centre when I was like 18 years old and sign on, and it's very much like how they portray it, and the way they treat old people, the way they treat young people, the way they think you might tell them the truth, you might not be, which is there's a lot of that, but it almost I feel like it makes you feel bad for the people that are genuinely, this guy's worked every day of his life with a hands-on job, and he's been told that he can't do that anymore, but he's also been told that he can't work either, and it
follows that story, does it?
And it's great, and the actress that's in it, she's amazing, and there is if you've seen it, there's a scene in a food bank which I defy anyone not to get upset about. But it really got me in the feels massively, and I loved it.
So
I recommend it highly.
number 7 for you, I, Daniel Blake.
Yep.
Number 7 for me is an animated film. I've got one animated film in my top 10, so I've given that away. There's no more to follow up. Number 7 is a film called My Life as a Courgette.
Yes.
Now, I'm not just putting that in there because I'm vegan AF. I'm putting it in there because it's a fucking great film. It's a short one as well. So
It's
if
only
you
an
want to
hour,
watch
isn't it?
it's just over an hour. I think it's like 70 odd minutes, but it's fucking good. I mean, for something to be that short, but again, just your eyes are attached to the screen. It's an animated film. The way in which it's animated, I love as well. It's very vibrant at times. It's stop motion. Yeah, it's like it's just really well done, the animation. So I've got no issues with that whatsoever. It's very charming as well. It was actually done in both French, I believe it's a Belgian or Swiss film.
Yeah, I've seen the foreign version.
And then the English version,
but the dubbed version's great.
Voiced by some people you recognise. I think Ellen Page is maybe in it, and what's his name I forget his name. He's got the beard and he's in that show about the end of the world. I forget his name. On Netflix, I forget what it's called. But yes, a great film. It touches on a lot of real subjects as well. It's about a kid who, for one reason or another, loses his parents.
Yeah, and I like the way it doesn't dumb that down, really.
Yeah, and it goes into an orphanage. How does he deal with that?
Yeah.
You've got some great characters in it as well, you know, that along the way go through these journeys. It's just a charming film that deals with a real situation in a fantastic way.
Yeah, and I think this could have creeped into my top 10. I mean, it didn't. But I like the fact that, because it's pegged as a kids' movie too, like a lot of people took their kids to see this, and I like the way that it didn't dumb down those real issues of loss and stuff like that, and dealing with like new people and being in those social situations at a young age when things are quite alien to you. And I loved the fact that it did that as well as it did.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, when I have kids, I'll show them that film, and it kind of does your job for you a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want movies to help you out, like TV, because obviously kids are going to be captivated by the big and the small screen. So I like the fact that it kind of helps it along.
And as I said, it's a short one, so if you've got a spare hour and a bit on a Sunday afternoon, watch that.
I recommend it highly. Yeah.
I'll definitely watch it again as well. So number 7 for me, My Life as a Courgette. So number 6 for you, Sean. The final one as we go into the final 5. Go on.
Number 6 is Moonlight.
Ooh.
Moonlight, yeah.
A little bit. No, it didn't even make it into the top 5. Interesting. I'm intrigued now. Go on.
Yeah. Again, testament to the films of the year is why this isn't in the top 3. But yeah, Moonlight. I loved it. I mean, again, another story like Nolan's Dunkirk, where it's 3 strands from when he's a kid, from when he's a teenager, then when he's an adult, following a kid that from the projects in America. So and the reason why I love the film so much is because I knew nothing about it, and then when I watched it, I assumed it was going to be your typical inner city child dealing with their mum who's addicted to drugs and all the rest of it. And you know, like Boys in the Hood and like all those films, like you can kind of, they're great movies and the premise is there and there's a lot of material. But I like the spin on it was obviously the fact that he's gay, and dealing with and watching him deal with that from obviously the impression that bloke has on him as a young kid, where he looks up to this man, and then from when he's in school and having to deal with those real life situations in a scary environment and like overcoming those, and then for when he's an adult and when it's totally affected him to the point like where he's never been intimate with anyone because of stuff that's happened previous. And the performances, you could have given best Oscar to all of them, I thought. Like, they were all great, and the mum in it's fantastic because obviously she plays the same character at different ages, and I just thought she was amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, if the other films, in my opinion, were not at this standard, it would have been a lot higher. Because obviously the way I'm talking about it is like I love it and I do, but that just shows how much I love the next 5.
It's a testament to how it goes. So number 6 for you, Moonlight. Number 6 for me, it's been mentioned already, so I don't need to labour the point too much, but I'll give my view on it more so because I stood away from it whilst you were talking about it. Logan.
Yeah, amazing.
Tied things up. Yeah. I'm just going to give you a brief surmise, my opinion on it. Logan, the final Wolverine film, spoiler alert, with Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah, by the way, full spoilers for this top 10.
All the way through.
I know we've already mentioned it now, but Yeah.
Logan, as you said, I think it really proves that you can have an R-rated superhero or comic book film without it having to have the swearing and over-the-top kind of comedy elements that Deadpool had.
Yeah, of course.
As much as I love Deadpool, Logan is a much better film for me.
Yeah,
in terms of the way it's directed, the performances,
Yep.
the girl, the little girl in it is superb. There's a lot of twists and turns with this that I didn't expect. Even though I knew the story of Old Man Logan
Yeah, same.
as a comic book, I never thought I would cry at a comic book film.
Yeah.
I cried at the end.
Yeah, I think because as well we've been invested in this character for 15 years or whatever.
And as much as you might not like him in certain, or as much as you might not like those films, right? You might not like X-Men 3, The Last Stand,
but
right? But you love Wolverine throughout it.
Yeah, because
he is the constant.
That was like the first real good comic book film I ever saw was X-Men.
Yeah.
Being real young, going to the cinema with my dad. And you follow those characters.
Yeah.
And especially as someone who, I watched the TV show when I was a kid. I read the comics and I still do. So yeah, to see it been done really that well and to sign off like that. And you could even tell like his heart was totally into it. Hugh Jackman was great. And like he has his final hurrah where he goes like absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Which
to see,
is...
it was
Because obviously that's what he's wanted to do.
A lot of scenes
for 15 years.
Again, a lot of scenes stick with me, so this will last with me because of that reason. But in terms of this film, as you said, there's those standout scenes of him going fucking crazy, and that's what you're vying for that. Like as much as you saw Wolverine in the X-Men films and you saw him going crazy, you never really saw the gore that came with it. I know it sounds really fucking teenage Luke of me, but fucking hell did I love that bit.
Yeah.
But then I loved the emotional moments with it. So for me, although it's 6. Could have been higher.
Yeah, I think to be honest,
a lot of these I'm debating with, but the top 5 for me is a solid top 5. I'm not going to argue with my top 5. I'm pretty fucking happy with this now. I'm looking at it on paper.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6 Logan. Number 5 for you, Sean. Going into the top 5 now.
Number 5 for me is Dunkirk.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to go too into mass detail about we already have and I already touched on it, but I just thought cinematically. As a movie, I haven't seen one executed that well in a while for something that's like with the budget it's on. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't comprehend the way the extras are directed and the way that's a lot of kids stood on a beach for a lot of, but the way it's executed is to precision, and Nolan just totally knows what he's doing, and you can't argue with
no.
How it's done, but just to have but to still make a film with the production being that wide is it still feels like an indie film.
It's a testament. I think it's a testament to Nolan as a director.
Yeah, for sure, and because he still uses film cameras and he still does everything
This for me is why we didn't share our top 10 because. Dunkirk number 5 for you. The number 5 for me is probably the film that you put in the same position, and how I would explain that film is eerily similar to how you would. It's a director's film. Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that for me is number 5.
So we've swapped.
We've swapped our 5s. Yeah, it was number 8 for me and mine, or number 9. So we swapped that.
Runner.
Wow, Dunkirk was 9 for mine.
There we go.
Blade Runner 2049 for me, I absolutely loved all the way through. It just the soundtrack, everything. Denis Villeneuve with it was just it's a proper director's film, but the performances are great. It leaves some questions unanswered. It leaves you wanting more, even though you know it could end as it is, which I think is a superb way of doing film. That's how I love to watch my films. I like to have that kind of questions running through my mind throughout the plot going on.
For sure. Which is what Blade Runner did for the first time. I mean, when we watched it together, you came out and you were like me the first time I'd seen it years ago, and I had no one to talk to about it. But you were like, "What's this? What's that?" And it's a testament to Ridley Scott.
You didn't mention this, but the thing for Blade Runner 2049 that I loved, it wasn't a sequel made for sequel's sake. It was a sequel that was made for the fans. It was a sequel It was a sequel made for the love of the original film. It was a sequel that was made because of the true following of the storyline,
and it's
which we see too much of now. We see fucking sequels being just shat out for no reason. So
and I think
it's good to see a sequel being done well. And as I said, number 5 in my top 10.
And with just to quickly briefly go on this, but like there's a reason kind of why with Nolan films and Ridley Scott films and stuff, with those big movies, that there isn't a standout performance from anyone. Like it's more the director's performance.
Yeah.
Like when you said it's like a director's film, it's like like Dunkirk is amazing, but I wouldn't necessarily although all the performances are great, it's not really about them. It's just like it's more about the director absolutely owning what he's doing.
That's
and
it.
Just being that good. Like I mean, Villeneuve, who did the new Blade Runner, is have you seen Arrival? Did you watch that?
It's on my list. It's on Prime.
So good.
No,
That's
I've
one of the
gotta watch
best films I've seen. And before this top 10 existed, that was the best film I'd seen of the previous year. Yeah.
Well,
But,
good. At least we've got some continuation with what we're doing. So number 5 for me, Blade Runner 2049. Sean, number 4.
number 4 for me is Get Out. Why do you have this face?
I'm saying nothing. Go on, continue.
Again, we can't keep beating a dead horse about the fact that it's it would be higher if the other films were worse. But I loved it from start to finish. Don't be saying
I'm not. I'm just. I've got to make sure you're not seeing my face here. But yeah, go on, go.
Of course, I can see your face.
Yeah.
We're not in a studio.
Don't destroy this image that people have that we're in a very high-tech studio, Sean. Yes,
But-
my bike might be to the right of you, but continue this facade.
Yes, we're using a mic stand as a box as a mic stand. But...
Do not pull away the curtain.
But yeah, Get Out I thought was just... It was simple and good and like so solid. I mean, I think the performance by the guy who's her brother
Yeah.
is like
Fucking
amazing.
freaky.
Yeah, terrifying. And I think even the parents are terrifying just because they seem so normal. And there's always something that you kind of, I mean, that you get with like suburban families where you think like they're tapped, like something's going on. Like, do you know what I mean? They're always a bit creepy in it. It literally heightens your fear of, and like I think the whole racism thing is done in a way that you always see that. Like when he mentions, I would have voted for Obama like a third term if I could have, and it's like, why did you bring that up? You've only brought that up because he's black, and it's like, and it's or like saying stuff like, oh, there was this black guy. It's like, why don't you just say there's this guy?
Yeah, there's this guy.
Like,
It's too true. It's too
and
true.
it's things like that that you know you see like I've seen 10 times over.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've all been guilty of it by accident.
Yeah.
In like our own ignorant way, not even thinking about it. And it kind of
It's eye-opening and it's...
yeah, it's eye-opening massively, and I think filmmaking, I mean, the last 15 minutes are just out with this
Superb.
world. Yeah, great.
So number 4 for you, Get Out.
Yep.
Number 4 for me, Moonlight.
Okay.
It got into the top 5 for me.
Yeah.
As you said, I don't want to beat a dead horse here or flog a dead horse. But superb performances. I really want to touch on the fact that it does follow one character all the way through. So even though, as you said, initially when you first maybe hit the first 5-10 minutes of the plot, you might think to yourself, it might go into other areas of introducing other characters that we might see all the way through. It's not afraid to go, this is the first act, boom, you're not seeing these characters again. This is the second act. Those characters you saw in the first and second act, they're not coming back for the third act.
Which is really brave as well, because
Yes.
the guy he won the Oscar, didn't he, for supporting actor?
Yeah, Mahershala Ali. Yeah.
And he's amazing in
Yeah.
it. And that you could see why it would be tempting to get him back. But it's like, you know,
The performance is so good in one act that's it, done.
Yeah, and he's only on screen for probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
But he is great. He is fantastic.
But great. For me, as I said to you before, I want a film that gives me not just a film that stands out from memory. I want certain scenes that stand out to me. There are certain scenes in this film that just strike a chord with me. When he's on the playground and the bullies are trying to start on him and for being gay, or you know, they don't know that he's gay, but they're proclaiming that he's gay. They're bullying him for, you know, being gay, playground bullying, that sort of thing.
Oh, is that when they're chasing him around the school? Is it
they beat him up, but they asked the kid who's his friend to beat him up. That is brutal. That sticks with me because it's like, I don't know, it's great to see that sort of fractious relationship sort of take place in front of you. You've then got the end scene, Sean. the end act.
Yeah.
Which for me is the fucking icing on the cake. Like
Yeah.
the performances in that final act, I think, are very underrated in this.
Yeah,
When I heard everything about the film, there were certain things that people were talking about, the fact that it is 3 acts, this, that, and the other. But the final act for me, when they're in the diner, fucking loved it. It was just great interaction. That's what I like in my films, and that for me sticks out. Moonlight for me, 4, might have been low down on yours, but as we said, it's a great year for film.
Yeah.
So Moonlight, number 4. I'm really intrigued to hear your top 3. This is why I didn't want to reveal it, people. Go for it, Sean. Number 3.
Number 3 is La La Land.
Okay.
I
know you love this more. Like,
mate,
do you know what I mean?
Which, as I said to you that it wasn't even in my top 10, and then, as anyone who follows me on Instagram knows, I keep getting drunk and watching it. I keep watching it, and like, there is so much I love about it. This could have easily been number 1, easily, and I don't say that lightly at all. And I just think you touched on it earlier when you said about it not taking the conventional route, and that's why I loved it so much. I didn't like the ending's savagely sad. Like when Ryan Gosling plays that song in the bar and you see what their future could have been and you know it's not happening, it's like quite heartbreaking, really, because he's obviously still invested and she's married and got a son or a daughter or whatever. And I thought the performances were great, and I hate jazz and I loved it, and I thought Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone weren't your typical
musical
singers at all, but I thought that added to the realism of it. It felt like none of this, other than the first song, which is dreadful. I still don't like it. I still skip the first song every time.
Yeah.
But the performances are great. The songs are just it never feels like when you watch a musical and people just break out into song. It felt like it was a continuation of the story.
And they used certain elements of certain songs but changed them and twist them for certain feelings and emotions throughout the film, which is great as well. I loved hearing that and seeing that on screen.
And the scene where it's magic hour and when they're on the top of the that road where the front cover.
Well, that's near the auditorium, I think, or the observatory.
But that's right at the beginning when they have the party. And that's like magic hour, which is like it's all purple and that scene gets, every time I watch it, I'm just like, it's amazing. And I thought Emma Stone is continuously just getting. She's going to be like Meryl Streep and people like that.
Yeah, very good point. Good point. I mean, she's got
star quality.
She could be nominated this year for an Oscar for all things we know, for her performance and her portrayal as what's her name in Battle of the Sexes, Billie Jean King.
Billie Jean King.
So as you said, she is.
The scene that always gets me in La La Land, like you said about scenes making the films fit, is the one where she's auditioning.
Oh my god! I knew you were going to say it. Literally, I didn't want him to say this.
When she's auditioning, and obviously it's
so real,
and it just keeps zooming in her face slowly, and she's putting so much emotion into this scene, and you get an Oscar nod just for that.
Yeah.
And then it obviously clicks back to reality. All the people are just on their phones. They barely look up and they go, "Oh yeah, we might call you." And it's just like someone comes in and interrupts, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, you can carry on." And I just thought she was amazing.
I've got to give a shout out for that as well. And I did. That was when you were talking about it. That scene came back to me as well.
Yeah.
In terms of acting performances, that was superb. Another thing I didn't say with La La Land as well. I recently come back from California and actually got to go to the Griffith Observatory.
Oh yeah,
you did. Photos from there as well.
Yeah.
It could have gone higher for me, so I back you up on that point. But so that was number 3 for you.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me, and this for me, like the top 3 here, any one of these could be number 1. And I know I've said this all the 3. Any one of these could be number 1. This was number 1 for a while, and then I just chopped and changed with my top 3. Number 3 is The Big Sick.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen this?
No.
The Big Sick is fucking brilliant. In terms of screenplay, in terms of acting, it's a comedy, but it's a serious matter. It follows the main actor, who is Kumail, who's from what's the Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, yeah.
He actually, Kumail Nanjiani. He actually wrote this film with his wife.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: his wife is the woman who is in this film. Like the characters are him and his wife.
Yeah.
And it's the story of them. Like it's it's when I found that out, I was just like, it's fucking great. Like, it could have been. It could have been this film that could have been overboard in terms of the love side of things. It's not. It's very real. The relationships between him and his parents are fantastic. He is a Asian or Middle Eastern background gentleman, and so he has that relationship with his parents, and it's just funny to see that, you know, they want the arranged marriage for him, and there's funny scenes throughout it where he's got a shoebox full of these photos where his mum has sent him on these dates with these girls, so he has to keep these photos of them. She finds them, who, you know, this girl who he meets, who is an American woman, so it's East meets West, but it's not overdone.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen that time and time done again. I mean, not time and time done again, but when it's done, you think it can hit those typical connotations of a film,
Well, yeah,
and the standard cliches.
It could be a standard chick flick of Western meets,
and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I think it comes down to his writing with this. But you know, he plays himself. So here's the stand-up side of it as well, where he's the stand-up comedian, but he has to deal with the serious thing. It's called The Big Sick. I'll give it away now. It's about her getting an illness, a serious illness, and she's put into a coma from it. It's how he deals with it, dealing with her parents throughout it, and how he deals with it from the other side as well. So the performances are superb. I cannot stress this enough, how good this film is. Top 3, but it could have been number 1.
Amazing.
So The Big Sick, number 3.
Okay.
So number 2 for you, Sean, am I right?
This was the toughest one I had.
Okay.
Was these two.
I'm intrigued because I think we've mentioned each other's films, and I'm unsure which one you've got now as your top 2.
Okay, so mine is, I'm still literally toying with the idea now, just looking at them both. Manchester by the Sea is number 2.
Okay.
It is just a roller coaster of emotions the whole way through. I, again, knew nothing about the movie going in to watch it. I just knew that Casey Affleck was apparently very good in it. And he is so good in it. Like, the performance is... Because, okay, the premise of the film is he's had to move away. He's got a mundane job. He's like a handyman. And he doesn't really like his life very much at all. And he has to go back. His brother dies and he has to go back to Manchester by the Sea. And reunite with, like, his nephew and everyone.
This is Manchester, UK?
Yeah, by the sea. It was a canal. Yeah, really miss going to see City. He has to go back.
Just reiterate that it isn't.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Just don't want
it's in America
to ruin
somewhere.
that for people.
But
they're not going to the Rovers Return afterwards.
No. And yeah, like he has to. And there's 2 different strands of this movie. Like, there's 2 different bits of this movie. There's a bit in his flashbacks where he's happily married. He's got kids. He goes fishing. He's got a really good relationship with his brother. And then there's the other part of the movie where he's dealing with the loss, and it's always leading towards something that's happened, and the reason you never find out why he actually had to leave. And when you find out why he had to leave, like, I was in bits, totally in bits, and it's so powerful. Like, there's a bit where he's in the police station, and he's just nodding his head, and he's all fine. And then the minute he leaves, he tries to pull the gun out of someone's holster and shoot himself. And I was just beside myself watching it.
So performances wise, it stuck with you.
Yeah, and the way it's filmed is great, and like having those 2, because to see him play a character that's so done with life, and is like he doesn't want to connect with anyone, to the person that he used to be, which was a bit careless and a bit, but like happy essentially with, like, he was had with his wife and all the rest of it. And there's a scene where his wife they're obviously not together anymore, but they confront each other, and he can't even deal with it. And it is like,
well, it's
the performances are outstanding.
It's an interesting one because I haven't seen Manchester by the Sea, so I think we're delving into some territory now.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen Manchester by the Sea. You haven't seen The Big Sick?
No.
So Manchester by the Sea, you're number 2.
It performance-wise, yeah, and it could have easily been number 1.
Okay. Again, similar situation to you here on my number 1 and number 2. I had to toy around with the idea here of a film for the film side of things, and then I had to debate on a bigger picture side of things. Number 2 for me is a film called The Florida Project. I don't know if you saw this one.
I haven't, no.
You haven't seen this one. It's a great film. It's directed by the guy who did a film called Tangerine, which was all shot.
I think I might have seen Tangerine.
It was shot very, very low budget, very low budget at the time. So this was kind of like the next step up. Like, do you know what I mean? It was the next step up. Starring Willem Dafoe. It's a story really of the innocence of children, the innocence of a child and children during some darker subject matter, which they never really go overboard with. Okay,
but Tangerine was, because I wanted to see Tangerine. I've literally just looked at it then, and that's the subject matter is quite dark there.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it though. Yeah, I really.
The Florida Project is, as I said, it's got dark subject, or it teeters on having the dark subject really brought into the mainstream of the film, but it's always on the peripheral. And Willem Dafoe is the kind of the manager of it. He's sort of his character is the guy he's stuck in the middle of it. You've got the children doing what they're doing, and the performances are fucking. I can't stress enough. I was sat here watching this. I was messaging my girlfriend throughout this, and I was just like, this film you'd love, because you're just falling in love with the children. Like, they're not unaware of what's going on. They're not, because that's what I want to stress. They're not being stupid and not knowing what's unaware. They're dealing with it in their own way. So there's certain things that go on, like one of the kids sets fire to a house,
right?
Kind of accidentally, because they're having a laugh, they're doing what they're doing, and that's what happens. But they just deal with it in this way that's just has this charming innocence to it. And as I said, the mum's got something going on at the time which could be dealt with in a really, really dark way, or brought into the story of a really dark way. I don't want to stress on it too much, but she is a working woman, shall we say, a lady of the night. But as I said, they touch on it, they dabble on it. There's other things as well. There's a scene where she beats up someone, but it's just all the way through. And the director's got to have a massive shout on this, because he uses these vibrant colours to always draw you back into the happiness and the innocence of children throughout it all, and the positivity. It's set in Florida. It's called The Florida Project, and with it being Florida, you have the surroundings obviously being so chaotic at times, with it being so near Disneyland and the magic of Disneyland, and they touch on this as well.
Very much a hotspot for the.
I mean, it's great. It touches on it at one point. There's a scene where a couple who come in. Yeah, there's a couple who are tourists that actually turn up to this the setting of it, which is this hotel that Willem Dafoe runs. Yep. And this couple turn up to the hotel or this place, and they turn up and they say, "Oh shit, this isn't." She speaks in a foreign language, and she says, "This isn't what I thought it would be. Like, I thought you said you'd booked the Magical Kingdom." Which is obviously the place at Disneyland where you can stay, and it's just great seeing that, because once you look at this place, it's kind of got that look of it where it's like that, you've got the pink and the vibrant colours throughout it, and it's directed in a great way, but it struck a chord with me in so many ways. This could have been number one for me. In terms of filmmaking, it was nigh on perfect. I really, really liked it. So number two for me, The Florida Project. This is it. Number one, Sean.
This is it.
What have you got for me?
One.
I don't think I've seen this, or if I have, it wasn't in my top 10.
Which is, if it's what my number one is, then you're a crazy person.
Go on.
Number one is Lion, with Dev Patel.
Wow.
I watched these back to back, Manchester by the Sea and Lion.
Yes, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
And fucking hell, it was a roller coaster of emotions. So many reasons why Lion. I could be here all day, but there's a beginning part with, like, Dev Patel doesn't come into it until about 45 minutes in, I don't think, anyway. And there's a kid who has to. Basically, the premise is there's these two brothers, and they kind of run away from home, and then. Well, they don't run away from home. Like, he has to go. His brother goes and works, like, on the trains and stuff, and he doesn't think his kid brother's old enough, and the younger brother just wants to be there. So he ends up going with him, but he falls asleep on a train, and the train takes him like hundreds of miles away from his home, and it's a story about him trying to get home. I mean, he ends up getting adopted by Nicole Kidman, and I think it's Nicole Kidman's best performance ever.
I've got to agree.
I thought
I wasn't expecting it.
No, and I thought she was great, and, like, especially when they got older. I mean, Dev Patel, was amazing. Like the demise from when he was just a happy, just a happy teenager who was going to college and going off and doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it was something triggers him with his
to
memories.
go back to it. Yeah.
Like his memories get triggered by food, and his memories get triggered by other things.
Yes.
And then he gets fixated on wanting to be back with his birth mother, and while still looking after his like adopted family, and his adopted brother is obviously the kid who gets abused, that he sees gets abused at this home that he's in.
Yeah.
But Dev Patel, the scene that got me the most, which has stuck with me more than any other film that I've watched, is the scene where he's on Google Maps and he's flicking through and he realises he's onto something, and he finds, like, it all keeps coming back to him, the memories of what he's seen and where he's been, and it all clicks into place, and then he finds where he's from. And I was just like, I was absolutely done by then. And I thought it was outstanding.
I have seen this film.
And it's not in your top 10.
It's not in my top 10. And it was very, very close. We'll talk about our near misses soon, but just to echo your point there, it's a fantastic film with some great performances.
Yeah.
Made me cry so hard
made me
at the
cry
end.
a lot.
Do you remember me messaging you? In fact, I sent you a selfie after a couple of minutes of it.
And I think I watched it after, I think we might have watched it in the same, there was like
you watched it the day before me.
Or I said, like, you have to watch, like, because it is, and filmmaking wise, it is just amazing. All the performances are great. Nicole Kidman was so good, but Dev Patel, I thought, really, that's a breakout. I know Slumdog Millionaire was his breakout, but like, this is where I think he'll get the big offers.
In terms of performance, this was a breakout.
Yeah, for sure.
He was part of Slumdog Millionaire. Slumdog Millionaire was a great film.
Yeah.
It's kind of how you touched on before. A great film stands out.
Yeah.
But this one had the great performances.
Yeah, and like to watch him, the way he suffers in it, the way he feels happy and sad. He's nearly gone. He gives up his girlfriend, and then they get back, and he'll do anything to get home. And it's just, I thought it was great. I loved it.
And the negatives from some people was that it was Google Maps the movie, but it's number one, Sean. It's number one for you. Number one, Lion. 2017 films released in the UK.
I know what yours is.
You know what mine is, don't you?
Get Out.
Get Out is number one. I mean, I kept toying with the idea, every single time. Get Out we watched earlier in the year, and every single time we watched a film, it was like coming up to that point. But Get Out, as the year went on, and I've never had this with a film before, as the year went on, this film just stayed with me more and more, and I would remember things from it more and more. It's fucking great. It's in terms of what 2017 was a film, like this, could a film ever describe a year the way in which Get Out described 2017?
No,
I cannot remember a film that ever said to you, do you want a film that's going to describe this year in the future? Like, I can't think of a film in the past that's ever done that. Like, Get Out is a social documentary,
and I know that very relevant to kind of how America is.
And I know that Jordan Peele joked that was the case when it was.
I think he just kind of knew it was heading that way.
When he registered it for a nomination for comedy, best film, comedy or musical at the Golden Globes, he, as I said, he joked around with the idea that actually it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Fucking it is. As you said, you touched on all those points, the fact that how do white people really deal with different races, and how do people deal with different races, and it was, even though it was a horror and it had the horror side of things, I thought I was going to struggle, thinking that it might be a hype thing that I'm just riding the wave of. But as I watched it, I was like, fuck! Like, I've never been in a cinema before as well where I cringed, and I was literally on my seat. I was next to you, Sean, and I was literally writhing around in my seat, elbowing you, going, fuck, I know people that do this.
Well, we spoke about it after when we said about, we've heard this.
We've heard this.
We were both just like a bit bewildered.
When Daniel Kaluuya's character turns, they turn to Daniel Kaluuya and they say to him, do you play sports? Yeah. Or you play golf? No. Oh, I know Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
The Barack Obama comment.
Yeah.
What sports do you play? Basketball?
Yeah.
Assuming these things because of what a race is of a person, and then there's so many different social kind of points you can take from this as well. Like I've listened to a lot of Jordan Peele interviews after this as well, and he chose Redbone by Childish Gambino as the first song that you hear when you come into this film.
Yeah.
Which obviously the first the chorus is must stay woke. And then it's like, that is what this film is about. It's like these black people having to stay woke by having to use their phones to boom. That's going to wake you up.
Yeah,
I know
of
it's
course.
fucking simple. Like, you kind of think it's a silly idea, but then you take that kind of viewpoint on it, and you're like, everything that was going on around at the time, you had police killings of the black community.
Yeah.
You had everything that was coming to the forelight or the foreground of things because of the use of phones and all these things. Like, I know it sounds crazy me coming up with all these things, but
I think that's. I mean, there's no coincidence in that.
no.
It's because they could have used anything.
Yeah.
Like, could have been anything that set them off. But like, I think it's intelligently done.
So intelligently done,
in the way
yeah.
that it's the use of phones, and it's the
it's satirical in terms of how society works, but it's also just, I mean, it's funny at times.
Yeah. Because he's like, every now and then he's like, ha. The awkward laughs that guy has to do to humour like his parents-in-law is just like bad, isn't it? He's like, he has to just go, ha ha ha, yeah, it's like, okay.
I've seen that in person.
Oh, I have, yeah, so have I.
You must have. It's.
But the thing with Get Out is, and the reason why it's not up there, is just because there's certain things of it, like I didn't like the comic relief for a film that talks about stereotypes. I think it stereotypes a black guy in it. Like, I thought that comic relief was a bit much and not really needed. I mean, he was good in it, but I just thought that it was a bit shoehorned in. And the whole...
See, I can counter-argue that, whether I think that the guy is needed in this to have it stick with you. Like, I think if it became this whole serious horror type thing, I needed to have that to be like... It would just stick with you, like, for so long, because then it just would be like a horror film where it's just the horror side of things and that's it. Like, the comic relief was needed to give it different dimension, so it stick with you. Like, I just think it's I've never known a film to be like, that is the year. Get Out, like, just described 2017 in so many ways, and I don't know, as we said, I don't know how well it's going to do Oscars and awards side of things, but
I don't
think
really
for a
think
lot
it
of
will
people,
be up there, but in terms of audience reaction, I think it's up there for people.
Definitely.
I don't think there's a lot of people giving shit about the Oscars.
Definitely.
So,
but top 10, I think what we'll do, people, is we'll get these out on the Facebook page, which obviously if you're listening on SoundCloud and YouTube, Glass Half Film or A Glass Half Film on Facebook. You can obviously like the page and share the page on there, at Glass Half Film on Twitter as well. Feel free to follow us on there. We'll get our top 10s out on there. But fantastic year for cinema, Sean, 2017.
Amazing. I hope it's the same this year.
Let's see what goes on, Sean. But Get Out number 1 for me and Lion number 1 for you. So on that note, what have you got for me? Third and final beer of the show, Sean.
Before we do the honourable mentions, let's get the final beverage out. This one I actually know.
Oh,
and it's very nice.
Spoiler
it's
alert.
called Club Tropicana, but it's club spelt the Welsh way because it's by Tiny Rebel. They're a Welsh brewery.
I never know how to say that. I always see that and it's like...
No, it's
Is
just...
it that? It's just CLWB.
It's club.
Ah.
It's Welsh.
So is it WU in Welsh?
Huh?
Is it WU in Welsh?
Oh, I don't actually know that shit, mate.
It kind of seems like it, doesn't
Welsh contingency. But Tiny Rebel is a great brewery, and the beers are normally very nice. This is
Tiny Rebel, Tiny Brain.
So yeah.
Okay. It's a lovely can. Looks like a Lilt
God.
can.
It's fucking divine, Luke.
Or Rio.
I love Rio. It's a bit like Rio.
Oh. Oh, you really did save the best till last on this one, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, people. Might have taken me the whole podcast, and if you're still here, Club Tropicana, that's the one. Jimmy, thank you very much.
Yeah, Jimmy at Brewdog.
Jimmy at Brewdog.
Brewdog in Southampton. It's amazing.
They've got battleships there.
I reckon they have Cards Against Humanity.
Do they really?
They do?
That's dark.
Well, Get Out.
Very apt. Club Tropicana, the final beer.
Tropical IPA is very nice.
Tropical
by Tiny
IPA,
Rebel,
something else.
Welsh brewery. Very, very, very tasty.
I love that. Big fan.
Do you want to do some honourable mentions?
Give us some honourable mention.
I want to mention a couple that
Honourable.
I'll list off some, but I want to mention some that could have made it in first.
Go on.
a film called The Founder.
Yeah, I know the one.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
About McDonald's.
McDonald's founder. Great shout.
Amazing. Really good. I watched it again the other day, and I just think Keaton at the minute is just smashing it.
Good man.
I think he's on a bit of like a renaissance.
A renaissance. A Keatonaissance.
So The Founder, Lego Batman.
Great film. I like that.
Could have got in.
One of the best Batman films. Probably number 3. 4.
I think if I'd watched the whole of The Red Turtle, it probably could have creeped in. It's like a Studio Ghibli
Yep.
animation. I only watched the first half hour. I fell asleep.
Fair enough.
But it was very good. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, I loved
it. I watched it again the other day.
I love a Guardians film.
Yeah, it's
really As I said to you before, Dave Bautista, my boy.
To finish off my list would be Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
Kong.
Yep.
Wonder Woman.
Yep.
It.
Yep.
Trainspotting 2.
Hey, come on, stop teaming them all. Can I have a couple in here?
All right, I'm just telling you what I had.
Jesus, yeah, bloody hell, you bastard.
And that Jim Carrey Netflix documentary.
Ah, okay. Chuck the documentary in there for good measure.
I could have put that in the top 10, but there's too much.
The top 10 close calls for me: Lion,
Yeah,
obviously. I'm sorry, that was number 11. It was very close. It probably wasn't even number 11 for me. Number 11 for me was Wonder Woman.
Oh mate, come on.
No, Wonder Woman was amazing.
What, you think Wonder Woman's better than Lion?
Wonder Woman's going to stick with me.
Oh god.
I loved Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was great. Like, I thought it was superb.
Yeah, no, I think it's good as well. Yeah, but
John Wick 2.
I know you love this.
Fucking loved this film. I remember watching this. I watched this with my dad and my brother, and I was like, in terms of action films,
well, John Wick the first one's great as well, isn't it?
This is great. This is great.
I hope they continue to make a little franchise out of it. I hope they're at that standard.
Unadulterated.
Just anime
action is great.
In it, really, like in terms of the killings in it. But
and another one under the radar, Hidden Figures.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I touched on this with you a couple of weeks ago. Hidden Figures. It's a great female-led film. So I definitely recommend watching those ones that we've mentioned in our top 10s, but also some of the special mentions, the honourable mentions. Honourable
mention.
So, I mean, that kind of brings a close to the main event of the podcast, Sean. I want to touch on now a little feature that we are introducing to the podcast, this first episode. And obviously following on from this, it will be a recurring part of the podcast. Something that we like to call 3 and Under. Sean, would you care to explain? Take it away.
So 3 and Under is going to be where either me or Luke has to watch a film from the IMDb list. I think it's like 250 films that are 3... what are they under? Are they under 3 stars?
3 stars or under, yeah.
3 stars or under, so they're awful, basically.
Yeah.
I did this as a test run.
Absolute shithouses.
And it was terrible. But yeah, and hopefully it will get to the point as well where there's some interaction from people who follow us on Twitter or on the Facebook group or anything like that. I mean, if you've got an awful film, we will certainly put it in the hat. And hopefully we'll get to the point where there's enough bad movies from all of you that we can just literally be pulling out of a hat every week, and me and Luke will just have to run with it.
Absolutely. So, as Sean mentioned, some of the worst of the worst, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to review it, bring it back to you guys the week after, sit through it and really kind of contemplate life as we watch it probably.
Yep.
And yeah, come back to you guys with a review, which we hope is entertaining but harrowing for us.
Yep.
So this first time around, Sean, are we going to go for the flip of the coin?
Okay.
I'm going to let you call. I'm going to flip it.
Okay.
And then if you win, obviously you can choose and I have to watch it.
If I guess right, you have to watch it.
Yep, go.
Tails.
Shit. Tails. Okay, yes! I've got the 250. I've got the 100. I've got the IMDb top 100 open now on my phone. Sean is going to choose. I'm going to have to watch this within the next week and report back to you guys with my comprehensive review of said awful film.
I always kind of worry as well, like, where are you going to find it?
There's a way.
You know
it's 2018, Sean.
Who has these bad movies
There's
just
a way.
knocking around?
Go on, hit me. 3, 2, 1, go.
I still don't know.
Click it. Go on.
Pledge this.
No.
Pledge this. I know we touched on
this before, me and you.
And you're gonna have to watch it, mate.
Oh God,
starring Paris Hilton.
of all people.
It looks real bad.
This is. It sounds it. I mean, it pledged this starring Paris Hilton.
This is 1.7 stars.
1.7. This can't be much less rated
mate,
than that.
It just looks real bad.
Okay.
Even the cast that are in it, like, you got your names from like the Epic movies and stuff.
Oh, great.
I mean, I was gonna pick Epic movie.
I've seen it.
It's fucking dreadful.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
But so yeah, pledge
I
this.
don't have it, but I have seen it.
Pledge this, starring Paris Hilton.
Great. So I best try and find that somewhere.
Maybe see
God.
if a family friend has it on DVD.
If a family friend has that on DVD, I'm disowning them, Sean. It's another one disowned. Ooh,
Well,
controversial.
Another one. That's a bit.
And on that note, no, thank you for listening in to our first official episode of A Glass Half Film. We hope you've enjoyed it. Next week, Sean, obviously after wrapping up 2017, the natural progression and evolution of said podcast is to preview 2018.
Yeah, for sure.
We're a little bit into it already. I feel like I've seen 3 of the best films that are going to come out this year already, by the way.
One.
Yeah, so I've seen some fucking fantastic films already. Benefits of going over to America and seeing my lovely girlfriend and watching Coco with her. So, that's it's already at the top of my list. But yes, next week we're going to preview the shit out 2018 and give you some of our hotly anticipated films, the ones we're looking forward to, some of the ones we're not looking forward to.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest a bit of a sweepstake in terms of a bit of a bet on what do you think is going to be the highest grossing film at the box office for 2018. But then I drove back and 5 seconds later I thought to myself, that's pretty fucking obvious.
And Avengers out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity War. So we're going to scrap that. We're just going to give you a bit of a preview going into 2018. But thank you again. As we said before, you can like and share the page on Facebook, Glass Half Film. You can follow us on Twitter, A Glass Half Film, at Glass Half Film, sorry. We're on YouTube as well, SoundCloud. As I said, just get in touch with us, comment, leave us anything you like, something you want us to discuss.
Got an email as well?
We do. Yeah, we've got an email if you want to really slide into
glasshalffilm@gmail.com.
Gmail.
If you've got any suggestions or anything you want to ask, anything, please do. Especially when it comes to this 3 and under as well. We'd like some... It'd be nice to have some audience participation. If you've got any awful films that you think that we would hate to watch, then please let me know.
Absolutely. And also if you are, working or run a bar and you'd like us to drink your beers and critique them, I'm sure if you don't give me a sour one, I won't hate it as much. But, feel free to drop us a line.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you very much. Ta-ra and good night.
Bye.